everybody, it's Katie, the Celestial Homebody.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good job. This is Ryan, my beautiful assistant today. We're going to be doing a fun video for you, and it's going to be a crochet relay because he is a man who loves to crochet. And I love a man who loves to crochet. So today we're going to be making a little cactus cat. It's a cat that looks like a cactus inside of a little planter. And while we're doing this relay, we are going to be asking your guys' questions. I took to the community tab on YouTube and to Instagram, and I asked you guys, what questions do you have for either Ryan, myself, both of us? It could be crochet related, it could be just personal, so that's what we're going to be doing today. So I'm going to start, and for the cactus we're going to use this Burnout Mystical in Fresh Green. And how we're going to do this is every time one person is answering a question, the other person is going to crochet, and then we'll try to switch back and forth. There were more questions for me than there were for Ryan though, so we'll make do. We'll figure it out. So I'm going to go ahead and start with 6 in the magic circle, and Ryan, you can pick a question. Where's the end? Oh, there it is.
From Lisa, does Ryan have a hobby? Well, historically, I would always say video games. However, I have not really played video games ever since Celeste was born. Something about having a baby in the house tends to take away most of our time. So, other than that, obviously, I would say crochet.
You like woodworking?
True. Haven't done that in quite a bit either, but fun fact, when Katie and I bought our first house, we actually built our own dining table. So Katie likes things on a budget, so we built the table together.
Okay, you're on round 4.
Round 4, single crochet 6.
Yeah.
And do I yarn under?
Yarn over. We didn't talk about that. Yarn over.
Okay.
Okay, next question. A lot of people ask this. How did you two meet? We actually met in high school. We were in U.S. government class together, and Ryan had a huge crush on me. We were introduced to each other by a mutual friend, my best friend. Her name is Michaela. We've been friends since the 4th grade. She introduced us, and we were just friends for like a year and a half until our senior year of high school. We were in United States government together, and Ryan would kick me under the table because that was his way of flirting. And one time before a really big test, our teacher told us that we could bring 1 page of notes to use for the exam. And Ryan stayed up all night long making in like 2-point font a color-coded cheat sheet for me to use for the test because he knew that I wouldn't do it. And that is when I knew that he really cared about me. And we started dating when we went to Disneyland together. If you did not know, we both grew up, born and raised in California. So in high school, I was in choir and musical theater, and he was a band kid. So once a year, we would drive down to Disneyland to perform there. And it was the first year that band and choir both went together. And so while we were at Disneyland, just on one of our free nights, Ryan asked me to be his girlfriend there, although he did mess it up and said, "Will you be my boyfriend?" But that's okay. I knew that he was a goofball. And that was in 2012.
Yeah.
And so we dated through the end of our senior year of college. I ended up going to college down in Southern California, which was about a 9-hour drive from where we grew up in NorCal. And we did long distance for 4 years while I was getting my undergraduate. And then I moved back to our hometown after graduating, and we were engaged in 2019 at Disney World. It's like a step up from where we started dating. And got engaged. Had a date set for our wedding in 2020, but we all know how that went. So our wedding was postponed over a year out. And because we were just sick of waiting, we had already been dating for like 9 years at that point or something like that. We decided to elope. So on Valentine's Day, February 14th, 2021, we eloped to Reno, Nevada, and got married there with just our family members. And then on December 18th, 2021, we had our wedding that we had waited for a very long time. Anything that you want to add to our meeting?
No, you pretty much hit it on the nose.
I think this is just like the tail, maybe? It does, oh yeah, it's the tail. We're doing the tail first. Okay, what row were you on?
6.
Okay. So I do 6?
No, you do 7.
Okay, got it. We didn't bring any stuffing up here.
Oops, that's awkward. From Penny, what does Ryan do for a living? I build cars, short and simple. I work at Honda of Indiana, so we manufacture the Honda Civic and Honda CR-V, and soon the Honda Accord. And I work on the production line.
We have a cattail.
Woo.
Okay, this next question is for both of us. So while you're answering, I'm going to work on the tail flower, if you can stuff that.
Okay.
Keely Marie wants to know, what is your favorite memory with each other? You go first. Thank you, good sir.
So right off the bat, I don't necessarily know if this is my most favorite, but one very strong, vivid memory is when we first started dating. It was our second date. We went roller skating, and I always joke with her that we were skating together and the song Fireworks by Katy Perry came on, and I swear the whole world slowed down when I looked over her. Something about that date always stood out, because I tell her that it felt like a movie where I just looked over and she was in slow-mo with the windswept hair. Probably did not actually happen, but in my head, that's exactly how this happened. And for me, that was the time when I first knew I loved her. So that's always a pretty core memory. Other than that, I would probably say Scotland in general, or just our honeymoon in general. There's just a lot of very good memories there.
That was mine.
Of course.
Yeah, our honeymoon, but specifically, the day we were there for 2 weeks, we went to pretty much all around the UK, Ireland, only UK, Ireland. Did we go to Europe, Ireland? I don't think we did.
No.
But London, Scotland, which is my favorite place in the world. But one day, what we decided to do was rent a car and drive all the way from Edinburgh in southern Scotland all the way up to Inverness, which is in northern Scotland, which is funny because it was like, 8-hour drive?
Yeah.
Which is not even the full length of California where we grew up. Like, it took us more time to drive down to Disneyland for the day. Driving on the left side of the road was crazy. He drove, not me, but we stopped at a bunch of different locations on the way up the coast of Scotland, and I brought my wedding dress with me so that we could get photos in like Glencoe and at Drummond Castle Gardens, and it was just such a memorable experience spending the whole day in the car driving through beautiful Scottish Highlands. Yeah. So that is one of my favorite memories. Of course, when our kids were born, that's also good memories for the most part. We now have a cactus flower. There's the kitty's tail.
Hey.
We forgot that we weren't filming and answering questions, and we started the head, but we have to re-record it. So just if you see that the head has a lot of progress, we're not cheating. We just are idiots. So speaking of our kids, Stephanie wants to know, I've heard you mention your son numerous times, but I've never seen him. Yeah, we do have a son. We have 2 kids. We have Sawyer and Celeste. You guys have seen Celeste if you are a regular viewer of the channel, our little Baldy. She just turned 6 months this past Friday, which is crazy. She has a big brother. His name is Sawyer. But without getting too emotional and depressing you all, the reason that you don't see Sawyer is because he is growing up in heaven. Sawyer was our firstborn. He was born full term. He was actually born a day before his due date in August of 2023. August 10th, actually, is his birthday. And he was a perfectly healthy big boy, 23 inches long, which is crazy because Celeste is not even that big yet at 6 months old. But Sawyer, unfortunately, had some birth trauma and was born with the umbilical cord wrapped around his neck. So he fought really hard for 17 hours, but unfortunately he passed away in my arms. And we miss him every day very, very much. And we always talk about him with Celeste. And if it had not been for him, then she wouldn't be here. So Celeste is our rainbow baby. And that's one of the reasons why we chose her name, because Celeste means heavenly or from heaven. And we thought that it was appropriate for her, given that her big brother is watching her grow up from heaven. All right, we are working on a color change now for his little snout.
And then Stephanie also asked, did we do a remodel on our house by ourselves, and how did we come to do that? Yeah, so we did do that all by ourselves. We bought an old house when we moved out to Indiana. It's a 120-year-old house. So when we moved in, there was a lot of interesting decisions made. Mainly with like the wallpaper, and most of the downstairs was like really dark red wallpaper with like gold accents. It was interesting because it definitely gave Victorian vibes, but it was not very homely, to say the least.
Hang on, pause. I'm very confused where what we're doing. So cream color bauble. Okay, double crochet 3, single crochet 1.
Yeah, and then bauble 3. And that color.
Yeah, but what part of the cat are we doing?
The nose.
But that's 2 cream baubles next to each other.
Yeah. There's 2 cream baubles in the description.
But they're not next to each other.
Well, there's one in between, or one single crochet in between.
Oh, wait. Oh, that's all in cream. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I'm a stupid. Okay, carry on.
Okay. What was the last thing I said?
Yeah, there was like dark red wallpaper in the living room and the family room. I'll try to find a picture of it. I might not be able to, but I will at least put a picture of what our living room and family room, dining room looks like now. I've put wallpaper in like every single room in this house.
Yeah, almost no room has been untouched.
We also used IKEA bookshelves, the Billy bookcase system, and built they look like built-in bookshelves in our TV den area, and they look really good, if I do say so myself. Those are IKEA bookcases that I painted, and then we used hardboard and cut out arches and put them in there, and it matches the aesthetic of our house, like the actual, bones of the house, since it does have a lot of character, since it's a Victorian era.
Yep. And there's even one of the arches even leads to a closet, and so like you can actually walk into the fully functioning closet through the arch. So it definitely blends in very well. You would not have known that they weren't there, for sure. That is probably one of the better projects I think we've done.
Our upstairs bathroom, the shower has been torn apart for over 2 years now.
Yeah. Because
it used to have a really tiny little stand-up shower in it, and we decided to rip it out and put in like a double shower, and did it all by ourselves. So we rerouted the plumbing and everything with the help of my dad. We started tiling that shower, and then I got pregnant with Sawyer. And then we lost Sawyer, and then I got pregnant with Celeste and couldn't be around all the chemicals and adhesives and everything. So she's 6 months old now. We still haven't touched the shower. So we have been using one bathroom for like 3 years at this point.
Yeah.
But my dad is coming back to visit in June. So he's going to hopefully finish the bathroom for us, or at least help with that. So yes, we have done every remodel in our house. And on a very tight budget. I messed up again.
Oh.
I thought DC3 meant double crochet 3, not decrease 3. So I think decrease 3 means do 3 together. I think that's what that means. I'm in single crochet 1.
Yeah, I thought it was
And then
bobble, double
bobble.
crochet 3.
I'm so confused.
Because it's always... What is the issue?
Okay, it's supposed to look like that. Like
Yeah.
2 bobbles next to each other.
Yeah.
It doesn't though, because you're supposed to do a bobble, double crochet 3, single crochet 1, and then the bobble. So that doesn't make sense how they would end up together.
There's only one stitch in between.
Double crochet 3. So in 3 stitches, do a double crochet, a double crochet, a double crochet.
Hold
and
on,
then,
wait. No, I thought
is it all in the same stitch?
that's how bobbles are written. Because bobbles, some
I have
pattern-
never seen it written out like that. It'll just say bobble. And then in the like pattern instructions, it'll say like, this is what I mean by a bobble. It won't say bobble and then the instructions next to it with no indication this is what a bobble is.
Oh, I understand that. Oh, yeah, no, because I had a bobble.
Okay. This makes more sense
Okay.
then. We have been on this round for like 40 minutes. Okay, I got it though.
Okay.
I got it. Let me finish this round and then I can do the next question.
Okay.
Hey, okay, we got it, folks. We got it. We have a little snoot. All right, Sylvia C wants to know, if you could each only crochet one amigurumi forever and ever, what would it be? Mine is easy. I would choose the character dolls that I love to do because it's one pattern, so I think this technically does not break any rules of the question, but I would use that one pattern and then I would just modify it to make whatever character my little heart desires. What would yours be?
Definitely a penguin. Penguins are my favorite animal. Always have been, from what I remember at least. When I first started learning how to crochet, and Katie would always try to be like, oh, you should crochet with me. Be like, but I don't know what to make. All I want to make is a penguin. So that's all I made is penguins. So that's not too hard for me to...
That's right. He actually has one of his penguins right here. Look, somebody did ask, what has Ryan been working on? Here's a little penguin that Ryan finished. The lights are so bright, he's getting washed out. You never named him, by the way. What's his name?
Ooh, I don't know.
I think his name should be Sir Reginald Frosty Pants.
How elegant.
Yeah, the third.
Ooh, third. Nice touch.
Your commentary. You're so cute. Pamsky wants to know, since I love Scotland so much, am I an Outlander fan? Heck yeah, I am. I freaking love Outlander. Oh my gosh. I love Outlander so much that I actually made him dress up as Jamie one time. Actually, when we were on our honeymoon, remember how I said that we did the drive and we went to Glencoe in the Highlands and I wore my wedding dress? We actually recreated the poster to season 1 of Outlander. I'll insert it here. I know, very, very photogenic, right? Not me, not him. The Scottish Highlands. Isn't that not stunning? Like the most beautiful place you've ever seen with the misty mountains. Oh, chef kiss. Anyways,
I like to think I looked pretty good too, but that's okay.
You looked fine compared to the Highlands. Okay,
Rosalind.
round 9.
Yes.
All right, single decrease. Got it.
From Rosaline May. What are your guys' zodiac signs, and do you feel like you embody the characteristics of your signs? I don't feel qualified to answer that question. I am a Scorpio, and I
He's a non-believer in the zodiacs.
I was trying to decide how many.
It's because the answer for him is no. He is the opposite of any Scorpio anything.
Yeah, I refuse to accept that where the stars were aligned on my birthday decides my personality.
You're about to piss some people off. You're gonna get canceled right now. Well, I believe in the zodiac.
Yeah, she definitely does.
He's a man of science. You probably don't know this, but Ryan loves NASA, loves space travel, all that stuff. So he is definitely more logically, scientifically minded than I am. And he's a Scorpio, so of course he doesn't believe in the zodiac.
Yeah, whatever. I was also an astronomy major for one semester in college, and one of the very first things that my astronomy professor taught us is that astronomy is real, astrology is fake. So I accepted that.
Yeah, go cancel his professor instead. I, on the other hand, am a Leo lion. And I could not be more Leo-esque. I am... Well, let's see. Let's see if Ryan agrees. So, qualities of a Leo. Let's look it up. Hang on. Okay, so there's some Leo traits. You read them and tell me if you think I fall into that.
Confident, natural leader, ambitious, charismatic. Leos are emotional, stubborn, generous, creative, egotistical, and no. Oh, yeah?
I don't know. Hey, not everybody can have good qualities, right? I don't know that I'm egotistical, but I am definitely emotional. Oh. But how about all of the other things? Would you say I fall into that?
Almost everything else you fall into, yeah.
And we finished the head. It's looking a little smushed right now, but we gotta stuff them up.
The difference in tensions is very apparent.
Yeah. Mine's like squishy, and then Ryan's is like super firm and hard. All right, you want to stuff that head?
That's what she said.
Gotta put the eyes in first. What do you think? Are those too small? The pattern says use 10s. Do we like the little small beady eyes without... He looks like an otter right now.
He definitely looks like an
without any ears.
They're definitely beady, but I think they're good.
They're cute. All right, let's pop those babies in. You want to find the next question?
Sure. From Wei Pahu. Just curious, Katie, how tall are you, and how tall is Ryan?
I am 6 feet tall, and Ryan is like 5'11" and 3/4. He's like a hair shorter than me. Yeah. Although with how voluminous his hair is, he normally looks about as tall as me. Yep. Unless my hair is in a high messy bun, which it is like most of the time. We're pretty much the same height is what I'm trying to say.
But slightly taller.
I am, yeah.
Yeah. Where am I? 13?
You are on round 13, yeah. Archangel Dusk asks, if you could have a dream vacation with no budget, where would you go and what would you do? You know what I'm going to say? I would go to Scotland and I would rent out a castle and I would throw a ball and invite all of you. But you have to dress in like fancy ball attire. And we would have just a major sleepover inside of a Scottish castle. That would be mine. Would be yours.
As much as I did love Scotland, and I would absolutely go back in a heartbeat, I am going to say that I would like to go to Japan.
Wait, I'll take over while you answer the question. Okay.
I was at 9 single crochets.
Okay. So what do we at?
Increase.
Okay.
Whoops.
All right.
But yeah, I have been trying to learn Japanese. Currently, I am 221-day streak on Duolingo. But I do also do Japanese studies outside of Duolingo as well. I have a couple like kids books that I read to Celeste. But yeah, I would love to go to Japan. Definitely like Tokyo and Osaka, like the big tourist cities. But I've also tried just learning a lot about like Japanese culture, and like rural Japan is super interesting, and like there's so many beautiful places and different like small experiences that are not as widely covered.
So you're telling me you would not go to Scotland? You're not invited to my sleepover anyways.
I would love to go to Scotland, but for a dream vacation with no budget, I would say Japan, so that way I can stay for longer, because we have no budget, which means I don't have a job to go back to. So that means I could stay, which means I can talk to the Japanese and get better at speaking. Exactly. Because it is definitely my goal to like try and become fluent one day. Oh, also, I know that this is crazy, but I really want to hike Mount Fuji.
You will be doing that alone. I'd be huffing and puffing like the wolf that blew the piggy's house down.
I'm not super athletic either, and nor do I love hiking, but if I'm going to Japan, that sounds like such a cool experience to hike Mount Fuji, even if I have to go by myself. But yeah.
And while you're doing that, Celeste and I are going to go to the Sanrio Cafe and have a pom-pom pouring coffee.
Boy, I want to do that.
I'm just finishing this round. I just put his tail on. Cute. He's kind of looking like a Pokemon, isn't he?
A little bit, yeah.
His head is still a little smushed because it's not stuffed yet. Wait, I thought you stuffed it. Did the stuffing fall out?
No.
Oh, no. We just got distracted.
Yeah.
Okay, Robin Ellis asks, who or what is your favorite My Little Pony characters? Mine's Applejack.
I would say either Trixie or Rarity. I used to always say Rarity because she's a bit of a drama queen, like no one that I would know. But other than the relation to Katie, Trixie is my actual favorite.
Of all of the worst possible things, this is the worst possible thing!
Oh.
I need a fainting couch. If you're going to compare me to Rarity, then give me a damn fainting couch.
I'll get on it.
Thank you. Do you want me to do the baubles? Because this is another question for both of us.
Can you handle the baubles?
I can. Now that I know what's happening.
Okay.
I can handle the baubles now that I know how it's written. This is another question for both of us. Are you guys into D&D? No. Our friend group... Are you moonlighting as a mage that I don't know about?
Well, I think it's safe to say both of us are into D&D. We both love the idea of it. And
we've just never played it.
Yeah, everything about D&D is like right up our alley, but we've never actually done it.
I am a little bit scared about just how much goes into it and all of the knowledge. Like, we both tried playing Baldur's Gate with some of our best friends from high school, and even playing Baldur's Gate, I was like, I don't understand what is happening. I'm just clicking buttons, and then I accidentally pissed off an entire village, I think, and then and then everybody started attacking us, and I didn't know what I did. I was just talking to somebody, and they're like, Katie, what did you do? So yeah, it's a lot. I would love to get into D&D one day, but I need to have the bandwidth to do so. I'm one of those people where, like, if you are trying to explain a board game or a card game, like, rules to me, I'm like that meme. It's in one ear and out the other. So I don't know that I have the attention span for D&D, if I'm being completely honest with myself, but I do like the vibe of it.
Yeah.
Robin also asked if we had a favorite Care Bear as a kid. I don't think I had a favorite Care Bear, but I did love watching the show on TV. When was that? That must have been like the late 90s, but I think it might have been reruns from like the 80s show. I don't know, but I do remember watching the Care Bear TV show and loving it. I didn't have a favorite. I think Lucky Bear was probably my favorite. You know, the green one with the little 4-leaf clover on his belly. I think he was my favorite. How about you?
I have a little sister, so I definitely knew of Care Bear, but I don't remember her being like obsessed with it. I feel like there's a Care Bear with a strawberry, so that sounds pretty cute.
Are you sure you're not thinking of Strawberry Shortcake? Because that was also on the same TV station.
Very possibly. Could
when
be
we were
thinking
kids.
Strawberry Shortcake.
Strawberry Shortcake was a bop. I freaking love that show.
Although I never watched that one either.
Strawberry Shortcake. It was like the third reiteration, because there was like a Strawberry Shortcake from the 80s, and then there was one when we were kids in like the early 2000s. There's a new one on TV now that I actually turn on for the dogs when we're going to be gone for a long time, because I want them to hear noise like somebody's in the house. And Strawberry Shortcake is always on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you're on round 16.
Okay.
Don't forget you're doing front loop only.
Front loop only.
Okay, K-Dancer asked, if you could go to lunch with anyone that you don't know personally, who would it be? Well, that's a hard question. I'm going to say Betty White. I would reanimate her from the grave, and I would have dinner with Betty White, because I feel like she'd be a hoot, and we'd get along really well together, and we'd be best friends. How about you? Wayne Gretzky?
I mean, Wayne Gretzky's cool, but he's like my dad's age.
Are you saying that you wouldn't have dinner with somebody who's old? Ryan's ageist, everybody. Ryan's ageist. He said so.
Well, more so when I grew up watching hockey, he was already retired. So, like...
Okay, what about that guy that just made hockey history? Alexander
Ovechkin?
Yeah, how about him? Isn't he Russian?
Yeah.
That sounds Russian.
Yeah.
Does he speak English? Do you speak Russian?
He definitely speaks English.
Okay.
I definitely don't speak Russian. No.
Babushka. That's all I know how to say in Russian. But him?
Yeah, I like that answer.
I answered it for him. I did his homework for him. The next one is a question for Ryan, so I'm going to take over.
Oh.
The question is by Lachelle. Ryan, how long have you been a crocheter, and who taught you?
I started crocheting while she was pregnant with Celeste.
So not that long.
Yeah. So
under a year. Less than a year.
Yeah, about a year. She is the one that taught me. Her and a mix of YouTube, because she does not like the magic ring, and I do.
I'm a chain 2 kind of gal.
Yeah, definitely like magic ring better.
Oh, we're at the last row, and we have got to stuff this guy. Look at him. He looks like a little otter. We got to stuff him. Pause to stuff. Come on, give him a good stuffing. That's what she said. A lot of people asked Ryan those questions and asked me those questions. So, in terms of how long I've been crocheting, I have been crocheting for almost 3 years now. I taught myself how to crochet going to YouTube University when I was pregnant with Sawyer, because I really wanted to make him clothes and toys and things like that. So I went to YouTube University, learned how to crochet, and the very first thing I ever crocheted is this little bunny that I made for my baby boy, and it now is sitting on my shelf back there. You might have seen it if you have been around here for a minute. A little white bunny, and I put a little rattle in it for him, and so Celeste gets to play with it now. But I dove in with amigurumi, and then after I did that first plushie, Then I started doing flat crochet stuff. And so I do a little bit of both. I just prefer amigurumi just because I have more fun with it. I really like cute little animals and stuffies and whatnot. So I get more enjoyment out of the end product of stuffed animals versus wearables and blankets and everything. I have made baby blankets and stuff in the past, and I actually made a outfit for Celeste. Somebody else actually asked if I could show off the little pink dress that I made for her, and I absolutely can. Actually, good sir, would you mind going and grabbing it from her room?
Sure.
As I close up this guy's booty. His baubles are a little off from his mouth, but that's okay. I mean, that's tension thing. I mean, I'm loosey-goosey, and he is Mr. Tight Tension. Still looking a little otter-like till we add the ears, but we're almost done with him. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get to all of the questions in today's video, but let us know if you guys like this style video, and we can do more Q&As in the future. Maybe on a live, which was a question that I did get. I forgot who asked. I'm so sorry about me doing lives. And I would love to do a live for you guys in the future. Once I'm done with my seasonal part-time job, well, it's full-time, but it's seasonal April through June, then I would love to start doing monthly live streams, maybe even weekly live streams. We'll see. Stay tuned. I have some things planned. But anyways, I have successfully sewed up the booty, and here is the dress that I crocheted for Celeste. So I made a deal with myself that and her little diaper cover that goes with it. I made a deal with myself that I would not work on this outfit at all unless I was at a doctor's appointment with her. And because of Sawyer's death, I had extra prenatal appointments with Celeste just to make sure that everything was okay and the cord wasn't wrapped like his was. And so I spent a lot of time at the doctor's office and sitting waiting for ultrasounds and things. So I would bring my whips bag with me, and I would do a couple rows on this at every doctor appointment, and I finished it on my last doctor appointment before I had her. So finished it just in time. I made it like newborn size, but she was so itty bitty at birth that it did not fit her until she was 3 months old, and she only wore it one time for her 3-month picture and then outgrew it. So yeah, but that's what it looks like. It's very soft. I am very proud of it. It is now in her little keepsake box that we keep all of her baby items in. So thank you for asking. The tail is a little floppy, so I am just going to sew it up really quickly while we do the next question. Well, since I just referenced my seasonal job, Robin Prince asked, what is your seasonal job and when will you be starting? So if you have not seen my vlog that just came out on Monday, I actually talked more in depth about what I do seasonally in that video. But to recap for those who haven't seen it, I used to be a teacher, and during the springtime, I use my history and education and my degrees in education and child development and all of those things to do standardized test scoring. So if you remember in school doing standardized tests, AI now scores them all online. The kids don't do Scantrons or anything anymore. It's all done on the computer. But in the upper grades, in late elementary school, middle school, and high school, they have to write essays, and they still have live people like myself to score those essays. So I sit here at my desk and read paper after paper after paper after paper on the same subject, and I score it according to what the school district wants based on a rubric that they provide. And this year I actually was promoted to a team lead position. So in addition to doing the test scoring, I'm also going to be leading a team. But I'm a Leo, so I'm going to really enjoy being the boss of people. Look at his fat belly. Oh my goodness, he looks like he ate too much tuna. Okay, let's get some ears on him so that he stops looking like a little naked mole rat. All right, the ears are just surface crocheted, so I can do the ears. All right, Maui Lime wants to know what inspired me to become a teacher, my favorite grade, and if I would ever go back to teaching full time. So, what inspired me to become a teacher was the fact that I had no good teachers my entire childhood. I had learning disabilities and difficulties, and I wanted to make a difference in children's lives. I have always loved kids. I think it's because I am a big kid, so I relate to kids, you know. I have a bubbly personality that, you know, they're kind of just drawn to that. And so I originally thought that I wanted to teach the younger grades, like first and second grade. I did for a year and hated it because I realized I was doing more of tying shoes and wiping snotty noses than actually teaching. So then I moved to upper grades and I taught fifth grade for years, and fifth grade is my absolute favorite. They're at like that perfect age, 9 and 10 years old, where they still appreciate you and love you and want to know about your life and everything, but they're also independent. And so they're just, fifth grade was amazing. And because it's me and I'm extra with everything that I do and I love to decorate, I always had like the most decked out classroom, and I miss my students so much. But the reason that I'm not teaching full time right now is because Sawyer was born at the beginning of August. So in 2023, that was my last year of teaching in the spring, and instead of deciding that I wanted to have a long-term sub for the first couple months of the year, and then going in halfway through the year after maternity leave to students who had only known the sub since the first day of school, I didn't want to do that. So I just decided to take 2023 off from the classroom. And then unfortunately Sawyer passed away, and after his death I just could not bring myself to be back in the classroom around kids anymore. So that is when I really went full steam ahead doing my Etsy business and now YouTube to make up for that income that I lost leaving the classroom, and of course doing my test scoring seasonal job now. But I do miss my students. I don't, however, miss being in the classroom. Ever since COVID, the entire educational system has just changed dramatically. Kids now are just so addicted to electronics and their iPads. Their attention span is so short. Unfortunately, in the United States, teachers don't get the support that they need from administration. So there's a lot that goes into it. I can't see myself going back into the classroom anytime soon, but I still have such fond memories of my students, and I still have dreams about like teaching, you know, like actual like dreams. And it's really sweet every time I wake up from those. I'm like, oh, I miss them. I loved the school that I was working at. It was a private school in California, and I miss my coworkers, but I am very fortunate to be able to do what I love and do art full-time as my full-time job, which not a lot of people have the privilege of saying, and I am so blessed and so fortunate that I get to do that, and I do not take it for granted even a little bit. We do need a little bit of dark green to embroider the nose.
Yeah.
His ears are looking a little more bat-like than cat-like. That was my doing because I didn't like the instructions. I'm not loving this pattern, you guys, to be honest with you. As you can see, I've had some difficulties. It is almost 3 o'clock in the morning, though, so it could just be that fact. So Ryan's just going to read me some rapid-fire questions as I finish up this pot.
What other crafts do you do? Any side passion projects you have?
I do a lot of different hobbies. That's why I design my professional hobby collection merchandise. I draw, both digital and physical. I paint. I do pottery. I knit. That was another question that I saw a lot. And yes, I learned how to knit when I was, I think, 12 years old. And so I have been knitting far longer than I've been crocheting, although I do prefer crochet over knitting. And what else do I do? Scrapbooking I used to do. I don't really do it anymore. I love gaming. I love interior design and decorating. The list goes on. Hopefully I answered your question.
If I was to answer that, my only real other crafty thing would be woodworking, even though I don't do that very often. I love working on the wood.
That's what she said.
You
untangle the yarn for me.
Did Ryan crochet before y'all met, or did you learn together? Did you teach him? No, I definitely did not learn crochet before we met. She taught me. Have you two ever thought of doing a crochet collaboration project?
Great minds think alike. Oh, and you never answered the question about like why you started crocheting.
Yeah, I started crocheting when she was pregnant with Celeste. Sadly, I can make her a beanie because her due date was on the start of the hockey season. So I was like, oh, I should make her a beanie of the San Jose Sharks. So that's how it started. And
then it kind of evolved into him just helping me market prep to take stress off of me.
From Copper Top, why are you so freaking gorgeous, first of all?
Well, Copper Top, let me tell you. When God made me, he said, we need a gorgeous, voluptuous woman on this earth who is funny and creative, but we can't make her good at math because then she'd be too powerful. And that's how it happened.
Foxy Hook Creations, when will you teach your little one to crochet?
I think we'll teach her how to crochet as soon as she stops eating the crochet hook every time it's in her reach.
Yep. From Srunard, what do you love the most about crocheting?
I think for me, it's the pride that I get out of a finished product. If you know me, you know that I love to color change and sew in projects. And the reason that is because it adds so much more detail and personal touch to projects. And so it's not about the journey for me, it's about the destination. I love seeing that finished thing that I made from pretty much nothing, just a ball of yarn, and then poof, a few hours later it is like this plushie that I can give to somebody and see their face light up because it's a character that they never see plushies of or whatever. So for me, it's the end product and the pride that I feel when I can present that to the world. How about you?
I mostly just love crochet because it's something that we can do together. She was the one that convinced me to crochet, so it's kind of just our thing together. Especially when the baby's sleeping, we can just chill on the couch and crochet and watch whatever together. So I like that part.
It's a couple's hobby for us. All right, the pot is done. While I'm weaving in this end, we can do one more question. Pick a good one.
Maybe do two.
Okay, Ryan says 2 more questions. There are 2 good ones he wants to answer for you.
All right. From Stitch City, she says, what is your biggest tip for beginner crochets and learning how to read patterns? Well, it is a chain of events to start.
You just want to do that question so that you can put a dad joke in here?
Yep. I guess to answer the question for real, YouTube University, that's how she learned, as she probably talked about earlier. Just sticking with it. Katie always likes to say that it's a difficult skill to learn, but easy to master. And I would agree. It's hard to start, but once you get the hang of it, it's super easy.
The last thing that we need to do is the flower for the head. First thing I ever crocheted, I dove right in with amigurumi. It took me probably 26 hours to finish this pattern that nowadays would take me 45 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. 3 years ago, when I did not know what I was doing with increases and I had to watch a YouTube video 15 times to understand what an increase was and how to yarn over and all that stuff, I now, it's just the amount of progress that you can make with crochet in such a short period of time is really incredible. So if you are newer to the world of crochet, don't get discouraged, don't give up. You can do it. And I actually highly recommend that you record yourself crocheting for 30 minutes so that you can hear back all of your swear words, all of your frogging it, all of that stuff, and then set a reminder on your phone 1 year from now to go back and watch that video and see how much you have improved over just a year. Even if you don't crochet every day, I guarantee you that the progress that you're going to see is incredible. All right, the last question. What's it going to be?
All right, last question from Naughty Otaku Girl Crochet. What is yours and Ryan's favorite movie, show, color, and type of food? So favorite movie? Ooh.
Mine's easy. Mine is Ratatouille.
Yeah.
I freaking love Ratatouille. Everything about it. The sights, the sounds, the accents, the rats. I love it all.
I would probably say Zootopia. I know that both of these are Disney movies.
I know. What does that say about us? That both of our favorite movies are animated movies for children.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
I love Zootopia. Good message, fun song, beautiful world. I love it. Favorite show? Ooh, we watch a lot of shows.
I have a lot of favorite shows, but oh my gosh. I'll just rattle off a few. Outlander, as we talked about, unless we weren't recording then. The Office, Friends. I have a very eclectic, diverse taste in movies and TV. I love TV shows meant for children, like My Little Pony and Sophia the First. Love those. I love very gory, intense shows like Game of Thrones. I love historical shows. Anything on the History Channel I'm down for. There's not really any shows that I don't like. I love Battlestar Galactica. I was going to say sci-fi is really the only genre that I'm like about, but I did really like Battlestar Galactica.
For me, definitely has some recency bias, but I would say Spy Family. That definitely got me into anime. What else could I say?
You love The Office too.
Yeah, I love The Office. I was actually the one that introduced her to The Office.
I know, and I introduced you to Friends.
Very true.
So we both gave a little to the relationship early on.
Yeah. Another long-standing show for me is Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Now, there's two of them by the same name. There's the original one. Don't like that. There's only 2 seasons. Then there's the longer Clone Wars. I love that one. The animation is super good. It's like 7 seasons. Love that. I've rewatched that probably like 3 times in my life.
I told you guys he was a space nerd.
True. Favorite color? Mine is yellow and orange. Depends on the week which one I say I like better, but always yellow and orange. Always as bright as possible. No muted colors here.
And mine is pastel rainbow, but if you're going to make me pick one, then mine is mint green.
And favorite type of food? Breakfast food. It's very hard to go wrong with breakfast food. Love it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Yeah.
My favorite food is anything sweet. If you couldn't tell by my rotund figure, I really enjoy chocolate and sweet things. In terms of like cuisine, it depends on my mood. I really like Chinese food, but I have to be in the mood for it. Love American food. Can't go wrong with a good pizza. Got to be in the mood for it. My favorite restaurant, though...
Ooh.
That was a question. I forgot who asked it, but somebody else asked what our favorite restaurant was. If it's quick, like fast food, it's a Wingstop. And if we're going like sit down on a date, then it's Cheesecake Factory. But we go there very rarely because it's very expensive and we normally share something. But their Parmesan herb crusted chicken is so good. What's your favorite restaurant? Oh, mine used to be Red Lobster.
Ooh, true.
But Cheesecake Factory has taken the cake. The cheesecake.
Yeah. Yeah, Cheesecake Factory is definitely up there. Otherwise, I would say at some local Mexican restaurants. Mexican food is like my favorite overall cuisine. So it's hard to go wrong with a good Mexican taqueria.
Well, here we are. This is the third child that we have created together. We should name him. What should we name him?
I was going to say Joffrey, but...
Joffrey.
Down with King Joffrey.
Like Game of Thrones? Sure. This is Joffrey the Catcuss. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us this past however long this was. And thank you all so much always for your super sweet, kind comments on the vlogs, especially when Ryan and the baby are in them. You guys mean the world to us. Thank you for being here and for watching. And thank you to our wonderful channel members. You guys are the brightest stars in my constellation. Thank you for supporting me and for supporting the channel. And I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.